a special day today because Bart has his first book published. And you can get it on Facebook, not Facebook, on Amazon. And the book is called The Illustrated Black Dragon, or The Infernal Forces Subject to Man. Okay. So, Bart, what is this book about?
Well, it's a book. It's a real book, a French grimoire. There is two editions, quite recent actually. One from 1896, I think, and one from 1909. But yeah, they're old enough to be they are, how do they call that? The writer's already dead long enough, so we can freely translate it if we want. And so yeah, a friend of mine who is a writer, Arendel Overman, managed to get his hands on that book.
How did you find the translation process?
I find that quite easy, especially, to be really honest. It's of course I speak French, but for the easy things I do it with Google Translate, and then I correct the mistakes.
Oh.
I for example, the language, because on Google Translate it's more American English you get.
So what's this grimoire about? It says the Black Dragon, and the Infernal Forces is kind of demonic or hell or something, isn't it?
It's a classical French grimoire. Now you have a very old, long tradition of French grimoires. You have the grimoire of Pope Honorius. There is the Grimorium Verum. There is the La Poule Noire, the Black Hen, I think. There is Pope Leo. And there's more. Right? There's a long tradition of French grimoires, of which they don't know how far they go back. From before, I've seen them from 1500, 1600. But even then, yeah, the manuscripts got destroyed and all. And it seems like this Black Dragon, it has a bit of all the grimoires. I can see a lot of Pope Honorius in there. There's a bit of the Black Hen in there. So it's how do they call amalgam? An amalgam. It's a mixture of
amalgam.
Yes,
I thought it was the name of a spirit for a second there, and I was trying to.
no, an amalgam of the French grimoires. Yeah. It's and it has the classic witchcraft things, summoning the demons of the day of the week, and it's very Christianity mixed with Satanism. How do you call it? It's you pray to God and you ask God to send Lucifer to help you.
Did any of them appear when you're writing, when you're translating?
Well, they did not appear, but as I'm sitting them, of course, while I'm translating, I tend to read out loud. So there's all these spells and all. And I have to say, at certain moments, you do feel they change in the atmosphere as well. You wonder, like, because they warn you explicitly in the book as well, do not read these things out loud. So I'm sitting there, do not read. But this comes from I've always had this passion for a long time. If you go to the French library, the website of the French library, the Bibliothèque Nationale de France, you go to the website of the British library, and actually the German as well. If you go in if you just go to national libraries, you can go in the archives, and very often they have an archive where they have scanned in the manuscripts that they have. Now, a lot of these things are not properly ordered. You just have the name and sometimes even just a number. So you just go on that website and you go through all of them. Now, and a lot of them are alchemical as well. Now, since recently I'm into alchemy, I'm going to have to start all over again because I ignored the alchemical ones. I mean, they were too complicated. I didn't understand anything of them.
It's a tough subject.
But and for example, all these the books that Crowley's on about, the sacred magic of Abromelin, and some others as well, how to conjure the demon of a place, for example. These can all be found in the what's it called, Bibliothèque de l'Arsenal in Paris. You can just go on the internet. You go to Bibliothèque de l'Arsenal. You go to archives. You go to manuscripts, and you type in Abramelin, and you will get the original Abramelin manuscript that was translated by MacGregor Mathers himself. This is the one he's been studying. And the funny thing is, it's all in, this is handwritten in French, but without capitals and without interpunction. So it can be quite confusing to read at times, especially when they are, when you have to say things, like when you're conjuring demons, and then you have to say things to the demons, but the sentence just goes on. And they say that the recipe in that book, in Abramelin, there is supposed to be the recipe for Abramelin oil that everyone knows. And this is written, it is written a bit, when you do see it, the handwriting is quite sloppy. And apparently, MacGregor Mathers wrote Golanga. But it's not Golanga, it's something else. I forgot the name in English, I have it here.
Doesn't matter, Bart, doesn't matter.
Anyway,
doesn't matter.
And it's actually, the classic ingredient is the same ingredient of the normal holy oil that they make in churches. But because they misread the words and they made it into Golanga.
That happens a lot. You know, there's always some ambiguity on things. So that's inspired you to translate more books and grimoires?
Yes.
Don't say which ones.
No, I have a big project in my head. I want to make a Dutch translation of the Book of Thoth.
Oh.
But a proper one, because there is already a few books of Crowley that have been translated in Dutch, but the translations are so bad, I don't even want to wipe my ass with him. My ass would be too stupid.
Is that a Belgian expression? So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the illustrated. I haven't seen it, and it literally came out today. So it's really interesting that we've been trying to do this video for about a week or two, and we only actually got to make it on the day it was published.
It came out. So
this is do have a look, and it's only $14 as a paperback, and we'll put the link in from Amazon in there as well. And congratulations on being a published author.
Yes.
Well done. Doing really good. And I look forward to reading myself at some point too.
Don't read it out loud, Paul. You never know.